which has the transmitter as well as a receiver coil. So whenever there is a flux linkage in the disk, the secondary coil will be getting more flux from the primary, and when there is a cut section, the flux linkage will be small. So depending on this magnitude of the flux linkage, the high and low pulses are decoded using the some analog circuits. So here you can see uh, there are two types of positioning. One is the projected part is L shape, and another is in the same plane. So in same plane, when we have the same plane of disk, you can see here that blue color line shows the primary circuit, which is transmitter coil, and whenever AC supply is given here, and there is no any flux linkage. So if there is no any magnetic flux linkage, in that case the receiver coil will have very small flux linkage. However, when when there is a magnetic part that is projected part of the disk in front of this sensor, this secondary coil will get more flux from the primary. So as a result, this secondary coil will have induced EMF, and thereby the induced current will be there. So there are total, you can see here the in the planar type of disk, there are six projected parts and projected portion, and six cut portions. So at the cut portions, the flux linkage is small, and the pulse is low at that location, and here the projected part is projected portion of the disk comes in front of sensor. The high pulse is received. So six positions for high flux linkage and six positions for low flux linkage are available. So in one cycle there are six low pulse positions and six high pulse positions. So suppose the disk is uh, rotating with a high speed, then the frequency of these pulses per unit, means the number of pulses per unit time will increase. So a frequency to voltage converter may provide frequency to magnitude converter may provide the magnitude of speed, and some calibration is also needed. Suppose for one cycle in 1 second there are total six pulses, then this type of calibration may tell us how many number of cycles have received in 1 second. So that will be the rotation per second, and we can also convert that later in rotation per minute, rpm. The second type of positioning is this L-shaped projected part in the sensor in the disk, and the shaft is, you can see here, the shaft is planar to the perpendicular to the plane of circular disk, and the projected part is L-shaped. Here the sensor can be placed in the radial position to the shaft. Okay, and here the sensor is uh, placed in the this red color disc. You can see the sensor is placed in the axial way, and here in the black type of disc, you can see that the sensor is placed in the radial position. So here the width of this projected section provides the high pulse, and the cut portions where the projected portion is not available, you have low pulse at that position. So for whole of this one cycle, you have four low positions and four high positions. So you can, now we have another sensor. This is Hall effect sensor. In Hall effect sensor, uh, we have whenever we provide there, suppose a conductor of 6 phases are there, uh, orthogonal to each other. So when we provide the current in any two of the phases, and a magnetic flux is provided perpendicular to the plane of these surfaces. Suppose here we have provided in the figure, you can see that we have provided the figure, provided the current in one set of phases, and the magnetic flux has passed perpendicular to this plane. Okay, so the current will a potential will be developed in other orthogonal planes, which later will provide the information about the flux linkage. If the flux linkage is there, the potential will be developed. If there is no any flux linkage, then the potential will not be developed. However, if the flux linkage is opposite or downwards, there will be a negative polarity generated in these phases. So depending on the position and magnitude of the fluxes, direction and magnitude of the fluxes, the potential polarity of the potential and the magnitude of the potential can be detected. So the same theory has been used for Hall sensor based rotating sensors. Here, suppose there is a magnetic poles in a disk. A small magnetic strips are poles are placed in a disk, and this disk is fitted to the shaft. And suppose there is a Hall sensor, so when S pole will be in front of, suppose S pole provides the positive polarity and N pole provides the negative polarity. So the analog circuit provides us the information that whenever the positive polarity is there, the logic will be high, and whenever there is a negative polarity of the voltage, then the pulse will be low, that is zero. So as the disk is rotating here, alternate N and S pole will come in front of this Hall sensor IC. This is Hall IC, and the alternate high and low pulses will be received there. The same rotating position information is also used in the BLDC motors for getting the commutation positions. Have you have done the experiments in uh, uh, your power electronics labs? I think so. You have seen that there is a BLDC motor, and there is 3 Hall sensor cables in the motor. So that are placed at 180 degree, and whatever the position of the rotor N and S pole, that is the Hall sensors provide the signal about the position of rotor based on the N and S poles. So this is also a type of sensor for sensing the angular position, which can also be used in the motors, and as well as in the robotic systems. So another is we have studied about the angular position sensors. Now we have the linear variable differential transducer. Okay, uh, this is also sometimes called the transformer. So you can see here, though whenever we have constant AC supply in the central coil given to the primary, and there is a magnetic flux linkage to the coil 1 and coil 2 due to the this magnetic material, which is a core. This is movable core, and the permeability of this magnetic permeability between the uh, uh, primary coil and coil 1 and the permeability between primary coil and coil 2 can be changed by shifting the core of this linear variable differential transformer. So here, suppose at central position of the core, there is a secondary induced EMF in the coil 1 is V1, here V1, and in the second coil 2, the induced EMF is V2. Then suppose in case of the central position, the linear variable differential transformer core is in the central position, then the equal voltages will be generated in both the coils, as the coil 1 and coil 2 are having the equal number of turns, and the turns ratio corresponding to the primary and secondary coil are equal. So when we have a series connection, then the differential voltage will be 0 for the central position. Whenever there is forward or reverse motion, forward or reverse displacement, there will be a certain voltage induced in the uh, alternate final terminals. You can see that V equal to V1 minus V2 will not have the zero magnitude, but it will have some positive or negative magnitude, which is also AC in nature. So this this variable output voltage can provide the polarity and magnitude of the variable voltage, can provide the direction and the magnitude of displacement in the linear variable differential transformer. This type of uh, linear position sensor can be used for the prismatic type of uh, uh, robotic manipulator arms. So this is uh, some of these uh, sensors. So I want to discuss now any queries in this part, students? Students, अभी कौन सा सेंसर आपका बचा हुआ है? वेलोसिटी सेंसर्स. तो जितने ये एंगुलर पोजीशन सेंसर्स हैं, व्हाट एवर द एंगुलर पोजीशन सेंसर्स आर देयर, एंड दे हैव pulse generated. So pulse per unit time can be used for calculating the velocity or speed of the rotating part. So आज हम इतना ही डिस्कस करेंगे. आपका किसी इसमें क्वेरी हो, if you have any query on these sections, sensor sections, then please tell me. Students, have you any idea about what type of sensors may be used for both and torque sensing? Belt and pulley system is very conventional and
Sir.
yes. Please tell me. Yes. ठीक है. हाँ बोलो.
सर नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम है थोड़ा, वो बार बार डिस्कनेक्ट हो जाता है.
अच्छा, मेरा वाला।
नहीं सर, मेरा साइड से है।
अच्छा,
Sir,
तो
your sound is
इसमें
very much.
यस,
Sir, sound breaking, sir.
अब ये तो जानते हो कि पूरी नेटवर्क पे तो मेरा कंट्रोल नहीं है, और बीएसएनएल का सिम है। बीएसएनएल की सिम तो अच्छी काम करती है कंपेरेटिवली वोडाफोन की। वोडाफोन का था पिछला नेटवर्क हमारा, तो उसको सही नहीं आ रहा था। Okay, so students, I can repeat the sensor part again. So all these are the actuators: hydraulic actuators, pneumatic actuators, and electrical actuators. You have a real idea about how the hydraulic actuators work. Here the operating principle is HPA, and the pressure is unique, same for all the conditions, and so increased force, uh, higher force will be applied on bigger area if same pressure is applied. So the hydraulic type of actuator systems. Here in the middle position, we have there is no any circulation, and there is no resultant force inside the cylinder, and they will be remain with the different positions. However, when you have the input displacement in either side, and there will be difference in pressure inside the main chamber, and the piston will move, so output displacement will be there, and hydraulic fluid has the incompressibility, and so it will provide the uh, non-delayed transmission of input force as a resulting in output force. So a small input force can provide the higher output force. Here you have a same circuit. This is the hydraulic circuit, and you can see here for robotic type of arm, you can use this type of hydraulic system, and hydraulic actuators have uh, some problems also. Slow response, big size, and dirt in the workplace. Here you have also the pneumatic actuators. Pneumatic actuators are cleaner, but they need more locking system for the air pressure, and in both pneumatic actuators, actually a secondary pressure or hydraulic pumping unit is needed. So here you can see manually activated control valve. You can change the direction of uh, uh, activated pressure. So if you provide the pressure to the one of the pipes, then the piston will move forward and in the reverse direction. So here you can see the pneumatic actuators, how the pneumatic actuator is working. A constant pressure air is given, and uh, if the valve is activated by a certain amount of current and the coil is activated, so this valve will move in either side, and the pressurized air will move in one of the chambers of main cylinder. So there will be a pressure difference, and due to this pressure difference, the main load main piston will work, and so small current in the primary coil, valve coil, has changed the position of the main piston in the cylinder. Here also we have the electrical actuators, bimetallic strip relays, contactors, AC servo motors, DC servo motors, stepper motors, and synchros are some of the electrical actuators. So this is a bimetallic strip. Here bimetallic strip works on the principle of coefficient of heating. So length is changed according to the change in the temperature. So higher alpha L will change higher length. There will be a higher change in the length according to the temperature. So if this bimetallic strip is fixed at one place, there will be a displacement del y, you can see here. So this can be used for thermal overload relays. So thermal overload relays, which are non-coil based, thermal overload relays work on the principle of bimetallic strips. Here, the coil-based relays and contactors are there, in which the fixed voltage is provided through the logic to the coils of the relays or contactors. Contactors have higher power rating than the relays, so the coil is energized using the suppose 12 volt supply, and the main contacts of 230 volt are energized. So the high power circuit will be activated. So relays and contactors are mutually depending on the uh, power ratings. Here you have the AC servo motor. AC servo motor has the uh, quality of the same theory as a single phase induction motor, but this rotor has a special construction and the radius is small. So one of the coil, two coils are placed at 90 degrees to each other, and one of the coil is given a fixed AC supply, and other coil is given a variable voltage AC supply from the servo amplifier. So whenever this supply is zero, control voltage is zero, there will be no any rotation. When you increase the control voltage, there will be rotation, and the phases of main AC supply and the control AC voltage is 90 degree to each other. So this is all about this. Now DC servo motor works on the principle of normal DC motors, but it has a small inertia in the rotor, and the radius of the rotor is small, and it has fast response. It can stop fast, and it can take the higher speed in very less time. So it is uh, either the armature controlled or field controlled. So when we have a fixed armature supply, fixed voltage on the armature terminals, and whenever we change the field supply, depending on the uh, magnitude of the field supply, there will be the rotational speed, because uh, uh, for a fixed field supply, the armature voltage can be changed. So depending on the armature voltage, the speed can be changed. So now the next electrical actuator is synchros. Here in the synchros, you have the fixed AC supply given to the R1 R2 terminals, and whenever you change the angular position, uh, three phase voltage will be generated in S1, S2, S3 coils, and these three phase voltages will apply a certain D and Q axis voltages in the stator of uh, secondary transformer, secondary machine. So whenever a DQ, certain D and Q voltage is applied here, DQ flux is applied, then if we have given a DC supply to the rotor, then it will take a certain position depending on the magnitude of D and Q voltage. So uh, depending on the AC supply in the transmitter part of synchros, there is a angular position in the receiver part of the synchros. So this is also a electrical actuator. Uh, there are also the stepper motors which provide one step in each logic change. So we have given the information in previous lecture about variable reluctance stepper motor, single and multi-step variable reluctance stepper motor, permanent magnetic stepper motors, and hybrid stepper motors. So this is the 4 by 2 pole, 4 pole unipolar. Here you can see that unipolar is only we can provide the positive polarity to a coil. So unipolar 4 phase are there, and 4 poles on the stator, 2 poles on the rotor are there. So depending on this, we can obtain the step angle of this motor equal to 360 degree by number of phases and number of teeth or poles in the rotor. So you have 4 poles in the stator, 4 phases in the stator, and uh, 2 poles in the rotor. So you have 45 degree of step angle. So this is also the example of 8 by 6 pole, 8 poles in the stator and 6 poles in the rotor, and you have 4 phases, and you can turn the supply in the bidirectional. So 1 minute. Okay.
Sir, you are not audible.
हेलो, नहीं म्यूट हो जाता है अपने आप क्या? कितनी देर से ऑडिबल नहीं है? From this section you were audible or not? Hello, Cynthia, at this section my voice was going there or not? So hello, my voice is going there.
Yes,
Hello?
sir, you are audible now.
Yes, so here you have phase A, phase B and phase C, and there are three stacks in rotor: stack A, stack B and stack C. Suppose they are three different reluctance based motors. Okay, so each stack have a phase means angular rotation related to each other with one step angle. Okay, so suppose you have three phases and 12 rotor poles, so you have 10 degree of step angle. So the rotor teeth 1 in the stack A will be 10 degree in advance of the rotor teeth of stack B. Means stack B is having the 10 degree of angular displacement relative to stack A. Similarly, stack C is 10 degree angular displacement relative to stack B. So here you have you can see that the poles of phase A, phase B and phase C are in the same line, but the teeth one of stack A, stack B and stack C are not in the same line. They are advancing to each other with 10 degree. So here you can see that when we have energized the phase A, okay, so after energization of phase A, the teeth one suppose has a line in the direction of phase A, okay, and green color is the same teeth one for stack B, and black color is the teeth one for stack C. So you can see here that phase A has got aligned, means rotor teeth one of stack A has aligned in direction of phase A, but the teeth one of stack B are 10 degree apart, and the teeth one of stack C is 20 degree apart. Now when you energize the phase B, in that condition the energization of phase B will attract the green color of teeth 1, so it will align in its direction. So the teeth 1 of stack A will move away, and the stack B will align in the direction of phase B. Okay, after this, when you energize the phase C, the black color teeth of stack C will align again. So in each step of energization, you have 10 degree of step. So this is the theory of stepper multi-stack variable reluctance stepper motor. Here permanent magnet stepper motor is also there. So two phases are there in and four poles are there. So alternatively, phase A and phase B can be energized, or they can be energized at the same time. If any one of the phase is energized at one time, then the step angle will be 90 degree. However, when intermediate time they are energized both, then there will be a 45 degree of step angle. So when you energize phase A, the rotor S pole will be aligned in the direction of uh, stator N pole generated by phase A current. Now, uh, when you energize both phase A and phase B, the S pole will be in between, the rotor S pole will align in between the phase A and phase B N poles. Okay, so after the de-energization of phase A, again the rotor S pole will align in the direction of phase B, which is N pole. So when you have simultaneously energized the two phases, you have 45 degree of displacement, and if you have energized only one phase related to after de-energization of one phase, so you have 90 degree of step. So this can be used for uh, uh, step step changes in the uh, equation. Whenever you have the certain magnitude, the logic will be decoded, and this logic will provide the signals to the appropriate switches, which will energize for certain steps. So here you have different sensors in the robotic systems, and position sensors, angular position and linear positions are sensed, and the mostly the same sensors are used for the velocity also, and for this pulse to uh, pulse to voltage generation or frequency to voltage converters may be necessary, and different logics are analog uh, circuits may be necessary for uh, calculating the speed from the position sensors. So this is the large number of sensors used in different fields, and robotics is uh, a field where these sensors are used. Optical encoders has the uh, transmitting LED and IR sensor, IR LED and IR sensors, and there is a alternate transparent and opaque parts. So whenever there will be a black line in front of the LED, there will be no any signal changed in the IR sensor, and whenever there will be a transparent part, the light to the IR LED will pass to the IR sensor. So in this way, the optical encoder works. So optical encoders may be two types. One of the type is here is shown in the figure. You can see here there are two sequences of the signals, phase A and phase B, and depending on the uh, leading and lagging position of phase A relative to phase B, the forward or reverse direct rotational direction can be uh, get got informed, and here one of the zero zero pulse is there also. So this zero pulse will provide this zero pulse will be received at one circle of one complete cycle of rotation. So uh, as soon as this zero pulse is received, one can know that the disk has rotated one cycle. So magnetic type of angular positions have two types of sensors, two types of coils, that is transmitting coil and receiving coil. And as we know that uh, higher the permeability of the magnetic material between the two coils which are linked together, higher the permeability and higher there will be the flux linkage. So for this, according to the rotation, soft rotation, there will be rotation in the disk and the disk has alternate cut and projected parts. So here you can see how the transmitting and receiving coil will work together. So we have AC signal given to the primary coil in the magnetic sensor, and whenever there is a projected part of the disk in front of the sensor, the flux linkage to the receiving coil will be higher, and when higher flux linkage is there, higher induced EMF will be in the receiving coil, and this magnitude will provide the high pulse at that point. When the cut section of the disk is in front of the magnetic sensor, then the flux linkage to the receiving coil will be small, and there will be a very small induced voltage, or it can be nil, and depending on this voltage magnitude, this can be classified as zero using the analog circuits and the logic circuits inside this sensor block. So uh, this type of magnetic sensors can also be used for sensing the angular position. Another way of using the same magnetic sensor is the L type of projected section and the radial position of the sensor. So here you can see that whenever there will be a change in the angular position, the magnetic sensor will sense means it will sense the magnetic part or non-magnetic part, that is air. So depending on that, there will be a flux linkage in the secondary coil, and you can see here that this sensor has three terminals. One terminal is ground, another terminal is positive to one of the uh, coil, and another terminal is output from the secondary coil. While the both the coils are grounded from the same terminal. So this sensor has three terminals. Another sensor for angular position sensing is Hall sensor based position sensor. Here total suppose we have six number of faces in one uh, cubic type of conductor. So the current given in one set of phases provides the uh, current in the other two set of phases if there is orthogonally imposed flux in which are in the planes which are perpendicular to the both planes. So this Hall sensor based logic is used in information of the angular position. Here you can see how the Hall sensor IC can be used for getting the angular position. Suppose there is a disk and which have alternate N and S uh, poles are there. A small N and S poles can be fitted in a disk. So this IC can sense the N and S poles. Whenever suppose this IC senses high logic for S pole, then it will provide the low logic for N pole. Sometimes the IC is designed such that it will provide the high logic for N poles and low logic for S poles. So there are two types of Hall sensor IC. So here S pole provides the high logic and N poles provide the low logic. So in that case, there are total five number of N poles and five numbers are S poles. So total there are five high logics and five low logics levels. So in one cycle, total five high levels, five low levels achieved. So higher the speed, higher will be the frequency of these pulses, and depending on the frequency to voltage converter, we can determine by the calibration calculation the speed of the disk. Here is linear variable differential transformer. This is used for linear position in the prismatic type of robotic manipulators. Prismatic arm in the robotic manipulators. So here central coil is given a fixed AC supply, and the other two coils get the induced EMF. So at the equilibrium position, when this magnetic core is in central position, the flux linkage to the both coils from primary coil will be equal. So in that case, the induced EMF will be same. So the differential voltage, according to the circuit here, the differential voltage will be 0. However, when there is a change in the linear position, the transformer will induce a positive or negative voltage depending on forward or reverse motion. So the magnitude and direction, magnitude will depend on the length of displacement, and the direction will depend on the direction of movement. So here the output voltage varies positive or negative. So here this is nearly the complete sections in this PPT. However, other large number of sensors are still in the robotic system, which will be discussed later. So, any queries from the students? My dear students, if all of you have got good information in this lecture of the actuators, transducers, and sensors, so anything to be added, you can tell me, and still some part is to be added in the later sections, later lectures.